Hello and welcome everyone to the Silent Hill Ascension post show. This is Eduardo with Layla. And Layla, we just watched a pretty scary, fiery scene with Toby would be the right word.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember from my interview with Martin on Friday, but he said one of the best pieces of writing advice he ever got was to not be afraid to beat up your characters. I don't think anyone is afraid of beating up Toby. He is not having a good time.
No, I mean, it starts slow, right? It's like, okay, you join, you prick the finger, you sign in blood, all the usual self-improvement methods to make sure that your life is better. And then you end up at the steel mill in fire.
Yeah, the steel mill keeps coming up, and I'm very excited for that thread to continue to be yanked on, as it were. But yeah, no, Toby, waking up on the floor there, clutching a lever is not a great time for poor Toby. It was a lot to take in, frankly, and especially with we were just talking about Joy, right, being there at all the worst times, continuing her trend.
Yeah. Just this time as a witness. Now, for our audience at home, we hope you would like that scene. You get to decompress after that and get a chance to rewatch it. But first off, we promised a special announcement about our content schedule. We're going to deliver on that. Our production team's going to put that on screen. Layla, if you could essentially walk us through the basics of the announcement, and then I'll develop a little bit more.
Absolutely. So shows will now be Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific. The season will be extended with Seasons Pass and the Founders Pack valid through Thanksgiving. Valid throughout, sorry. And then Thanksgiving, Thursday, November 23rd, will have no new video content for the holiday. And Eduardo, I believe you have more details for us.
Yes. Again, we have been carefully listening to feedback from our viewers, in those first few weeks. Interactive series are kind of a new thing, so we need to make sure we get it right. One thing we did hear from you, who did write in, is that the nonstop 7 days a week live streams are difficult for people to catch up on. Particular note is, again, we got a lot of emails, customer service portal contacts, that those weekends were hard and that you were missing opportunities to participate. We're going to use that feedback. So as a result, we're going to adjust our daily live streams to be weekdays, Monday through Friday. This change begins this week. So this Saturday, for example, there won't be content essentially going live there. So Silent Hill Ascension will now stream live weekdays, Monday to Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Thanksgiving. A lot of our live operation team is in the United States, so we wanted to give them Thanksgiving this week so that they could enjoy their holiday. When and where this will occur, we'll keep you posted. For now, Thursday, there will essentially be no new live video content. Obviously, if you wanted to log in, do the puzzles, or catch up on the episodes, you're welcome to do it. So, important points. Season 1 will be extended. That essentially means that you will see the content you're supposed to see. It will just last longer in terms of duration over time. Your puzzles are still daily, so if you wanted to, they will also still update on weekends. So if you did want new daily puzzles, don't worry, you'll still get those. As a result, actually, this is a way to get more influence points per story points. That's a little bit of extra good news for you, all of you who want to influence our story. Our Founders Pack and Season Pass will match this extended season. So if you purchase it or are thinking of, don't worry, that covers you. And finally, as an additional note, this Friday, there won't be a hosted show. So we do usually do a hosted show on Fridays, but this one we're taking off. We're going to have a regular show take place though. So if you wanted to see some live video content, that will still take place on Friday. And we hope that you've had a chance to digest that announcement. We'll do a little reminder at the end. Now, our production team is going to throw back that key scene we just won with Toby at the steel mill, because let's be honest, that's clearly the video today, Layla.
Yeah, I would sure say so. We don't get to see the steel mill very often, but now here we are. Toby shows up in a state again. Not really quite sober-minded for his adventure here, and things go south very, very quickly in terms of him having to face something that happened here, right? Something that very fiery, something that people blame him for, which I guess does explain, Eduardo, why folks don't seem to like my boy Toby.
Yeah, it's my fault, essentially. It seems like there's a lot of admission of guilt going on in Pennsylvania. We sided with Rachel, right? And here, you can see that on the screen. The fire is starting, the screams, like essentially, it's all coming rushing back in.
Yeah, it's visceral, right? It's very real to Toby, and I'm very curious about Joy appearing there and just kind of leaving her brother to come to his what he thinks right is his fiery death in the moment, and then luckily Toby lives to see another day with what we'll see shortly with what looks like a lever in his hand. So who's to say, Eduardo?
I mean, you are, but we're not going to spoil things for our audience. We're going to let them enjoy the live content as it goes live. Again, kind of, Layla's seen the script. She knows what's up, but she doesn't want to spoil the experience for you at home. She wants you to enjoy it as the scenes play out kind of day by day, and that you get to see essentially what happens to Toby and the rest of our cast. But for sure, this was one, this seemed like the defining scene for Toby. Out of quite a few, actually, that we've had in these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, very Toby-centric time, which, hey, Eduardo, good for me as a fan of Toby, right? He's famously my favorite character, and I love him very much, and I'm so sad to see him get beat up, even though it's good for the narrative. What can I say? Sometimes you have to make sacrifices, but I believe production is about to actually throw up a decision graphic that also opened up today. And this one takes place in Norway. So the question is, what will Astrid do with the pill that Aurora gave her? You got, for the redemption choice, throw it away. For the suffering choice, lie about taking it. And for the damnation choice, she's gonna take it. She's gonna take the mysterious pill that the strange lady offered her. The questionable decisions being made all around. So yeah, again, this is a fate rail decision. So we got our three fates: redemption, suffering, and damnation. So if you want to influence that, your time to decide is nigh. The take it is really throwing me for. I'm not sure. I think I'm with Astrid in her initial reaction when she was like, I don't know about taking things that are not prescribed to me. I don't know about that either, Astrid.
Yeah, no, I gotta be honest. When I watched the scene, I'm like, we had a few moments where the development team came on. We talked about like redemption being the overall arc, and again, we want to be semi-neutral on the hosted show because we kind of want you at home to make your own decisions to go with the thing. But Layla and myself personally are probably on the same page. The strange tales from the strange lady, not quite the direction we would go down on, personally in that situation. Now, maybe Astrid's different, but again, she works as a scientist, so that's also another thing to consider. Yeah,
that's our new Astrid fan fiction? Is Astrid at her rave days way back when?
I mean, that makes sense. Actually, that would be the path to damnation, right? If she had it from like days when she the times when she studied, maybe was in the city, did something different. That could be it. That could be what you as the audience are telling us. Astrid lived a different life. But anyways, we want to continue with Norway. So if you hadn't had the chance to join us in our pre-show where we discussed the story, we're going to throw that back up for you on screen. Make sure you're up to speed on all that's been going on there. And Layla will read through essentially what our production team is going to throw up.
Yes, thank you, production. And one more time with feeling about Norway, Carl chooses how he's going to protect his farm from the evil he believes is stalking him. Carl and Eva confront the person or thing he believes has been terrorizing his farm, and Carl finds Ingrid's ring and must decide which of the Johansson women to give it to. Everyone's got an opinion on what he should do, including our audience, including his daughter, including his sister-in-law that he's got a thing for. And Eduardo, not a great place for Carl.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's until death do us part. So, the sister-in-law part, I'm actually okay with it. You got to find solace where you need it. And to be fair, the audience I think, was pretty favorable to Mete, actually, in a decision that's going to close in a couple of days. So that was kind of a fun one to see there. But, all of that said, essentially here, the big thing with Norway, right, was really, apart from like kind of that interpersonal relationship between Mete, Carl, Astrid, and obviously Ingrid's body going missing, desecrated, a bunch of horrifying things happening to it clearly. Eva was kind of the star, how shall we call it? Dark hole of the show last week.
Eduardo, it's just, yeah, disconcerting. It's one of those things that is really the magic of voice acting, right? Like, I don't know about you. I used to do quite a bit of theater, and it was one of those things where you read something in the script, it's one thing, and then you see somebody perform the line, and it's another thing. Unsettling performance.
Yeah, no, for sure. And definitely great theatrics there. And we enjoyed it. We hope you at home also enjoy that kind of thing. After all, it is horror. You should enjoy it. That if you were there for that, the unsettling is probably what you wanted to see. Now, we did show the scene from Pennsylvania, the video with Toby. I think if you haven't been catching up to speed on Pennsylvania, this is a very good time to do so. Again, we talked about that in our pre-show. Our production team's going to throw up that graphic back on screen. Layla's going to walk us through it as usual. And we'll discuss that a bit so that you are up to speed. Essentially, if you just saw the burning steel mill, that you have context.
Absolutely. So, with help from Toby's dealer, Rachel finds Toby and attempts to recruit him into the Foundation. And then Rachel must report her failure to recruit Toby to Xavier, only to learn how Krista has succeeded in the endeavor. And Rachel also tries to convince Eric to let Faith hold an important role in Toby's induction ceremony. And that is a decision that was also left up to the audience, which was very exciting.
I will say I'm very, personally, I like that the audience chose not to have the child prick the finger of the adult man joining the self-improvement scheme club. Pyramid shaped scheme. Anyways, making sure here that, you can deal with these problems yourself. You don't need to involve the children. But in that process, right, also, that was clear from the choice. We hope that you saw that too, is that by essentially you choosing at home that Faith doesn't get involved, Rachel's essentially choosing to side with her husband. And with the dispute she's been having with Xavier, that makes kind of some sense, right? Like she kind of got a talking down to. Krista's kind of looking like, so to speak, the hero, right, standing at the door from last week.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like Rachel can't catch a break either. No one can really catch a break, it seems like, in this motley crew. But Rachel's, we talked about it before. Tension in her marriage, now tension at the Foundation, where prior to the incident with Joy, she seemed to be succeeding. And now we're throwing Toby into the mix, who did not mince words or wait for a second before he said exactly why he was there.
Yeah, I think it's always good to be forthcoming about what you want. It's the best way to get into the depths of it immediately. Anyways, but speaking of what you want, we got the decisions made by the audience so far. We looked at these. We took some of the highlights. They're going to appear on screen, Layla. So these are going to be some of the highlights from last week.
Absolutely. So first we got what will Carl use to protect his family? The audience went with runes, to ward off the evil, which was the suffering choice. Next we have, how will Rachel convince Toby to join the Foundation? She will apologize for her faults, the redemption choice. And then where will Carl have Mete sleep? What a tongue twister. And the audience chose at his farmhouse, which is what Noah and I were so very excited about, the escandalo of it all.
No, for sure. I think that's one of the funner choices from last week, actually. It was, it's not a fate decision. It's clearly, where's Carl placing Mete? And the obvious answer is right at home, right where she needs to be, right where things need to, warm up in the cold parts of Norway where he lives. Now, That to be fair was kind of like the fun decision. We love seeing the audience was very clearly into at his farmhouse. About half of you chose that. The closest decision, frankly, here was really that decision where what will Carl use to protect his family. The redemption option and the suffering option were extremely close, within 1%. Very, very little ground separated them. So you as an audience were torn on this, and the suffering option is always interesting, right? Because from the first week, a lot of you chose redemption straight up, right? We're used to wanting the good ending. As the series kind of continued, we started seeing redemption and damnation, and in the third week, we're starting to see a lot of you warm up to the idea of, I'm going to choose the option that makes sense to me. And you need, runes kind of make sense if you're dealing with the mystical.
Yeah. If you're sorry, I thought there was more to that sentence. If you're dealing with the mystical, get the mystical involved. Absolutely. I'm looking at the results right now. It was actually within less than a percent. It was 46 and 46 and 9% for the wolf traps. Which I love team suffering rising up because, like you said, for kind of a while it was redemption and damnation, and now we're finally seeing the not so secret third thing emerge from the middle and take hold, which I love to see. But yeah, we saw that Carl did bring back that rune, and apparently he does believe that it helped bring that poor forager to heal. So perhaps it did work, Carl. Who's to say?
I mean, well, we'll discover as we go, right? As more of the story gets unraveled. But one of the other, in that last one, that was not that close, really. But how will Rachel convince Toby to join the foundation? I thought that was interesting that the audience decided to essentially have Rachel admit, kind of go, you know what, this is my bad. Which I thought was interesting because since Rachel did that, she kind of got piled on, and now based on the audience decisions, she's kind of so to speak, suffering the immediate consequences of it, where everybody talks down to her, tells her she's doing a terrible job and all this other stuff. But it's the redemption path.
Yeah, it's a real no good deed goes unpunished, Eduardo.
I mean, that makes sense. Especially horror, Silent Hill, Ascension. Why would a good deed be rewarded? That would make no sense, right? With the experience we're having. So you need to consider that as we look again one last time. Essentially, the decision that's opening today, which was what will Astrid do with the pill Aurora gave her?
Absolutely. And our choices here are to throw it away, to lie about taking it, or just straight up take it.
Yeah, just straight up. Layla, one of the things here is very clearly you and me are on team strange pill, strange lady, no dice. Very, very easy. But remember, this isn't you or me taking the pills, or you, the audience at home, taking said pills. It's what you, the audience at home, believe Astrid should be doing. Now, you could do the sensible thing, or you could have fun with it. Well, and that's really what this whole experience is about.
You get to decide what the sensible thing is.
I mean, you don't have to do sensible, right? You could just do nonsensical. I think that's part of the chaos.
It is a little bit. Yeah, I mean, listen, Astrid's kind of at the end of her rope, right? She's got a lot of things going on. Her mom's death and her kid and her dad and her aunt now, right? I totally get her when she gets annoyed with Mete for, asking what she can do to help. Find a thing. Keep yourself busy. You're a grown lady. But maybe, hey, she's at the end of her rope enough that the pill's starting to sound good. The mysterious herbal pill handed to her after she collapsed screaming. Totally normal times in Stilladolin.
Yeah, no, for sure. But by the way, a little thing from that scene that I picked up on, and by the way, for the audience, Layla knows the scripts. I actually try not to spoil myself too much, but I did pick up the little thing of, you're here hours earlier than I expected you.
Yeah, and then Aurora did say that that was the time that they agreed on, but here's the thing. Who am I inclined to believe, right? Is it Astrid who's losing it, or Aurora who seems to be popping up at all the worst moments? I don't know. I genuinely, like you said, I've read the scripts, still haven't made up my mind who I'm rooting for in this situation.
Right. And whoever you're rooting for at home, you get to make some of those choices for us. That way we don't actually know what the end outcome is going to be. You at home get to still write that story.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And hey, Eduardo, we are getting close to the end of our beloved hosted show. Would you mind giving us a recap?
Sure, of course. So again, the story of last week, really about tensions rising, really about essentially things about to go down, literally in the case of Eva and Carl at the farm. But this week, today, you got to see Toby at the steel mill. I would recommend to rewatch this scene. Even if you have, it's a pretty harrowing scene. There's a lot of energy in there. There's clearly something important going on. And I would recommend you to rewatch essentially Toby having to deal with essentially that trauma on top of live traumatic event happening. You can stick around, by the way, with us in Silent Hill Ascension. The puzzles are available for you out of it. Now, what we're going to do, we normally talk about the next shows. That graphic's going to pop up on the screen from our production team. If you haven't had the chance to check the announcement from us a bit earlier, or if you want a refresher, this is important. We are going to move to a weekly schedule. So what you're seeing on screen is specific to this week because we are taking Thanksgiving off. So there will be no new video content on Thursday. Friday, we'll have the usual video content, but we, the hosted show, won't be on. We're actually going to move our interview to Monday. So we'll let you know a little bit more about that as it comes. But this is the schedule for this week. So essentially, we will be back for the hosted show on Wednesday. You can enjoy the live content Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. The time hasn't changed, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope, by the way, wherever you are around the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, you've had a wonderful time with us. Rain, shine, or fog, we will keep showing you what's up in Silent Hill Ascension, but it will be on weekdays rather than weekends. After all, even the most horrible situations require some time off. This was Eduardo here with Layla. I hope you had a wonderful time listening to us and watching our show. See you next time.